Hey everybody, this is my Celtic Empire. It's the fourth and final one until they release something. There will be an advertisement before I tell you what I use. My epic pillages are now 2,000 a stack. And there you go. Now to the tree. I wasn't going to bore you too much with that. Now for the Celtics, I've decided to go a little differently. A little things are different, as you'll see from if you've viewed my other empires already. Now when it comes to Storehouse, I haven't messed around with the 33% off yet. I plan on it a little bit, but all I do here is for food, and I like this gold mine. I've tested it. I've tested 20 villagers on a mine, on how long it takes them to clear out a mine, and I tested with this. And this only holds 10 villagers in, but it clears it out in the same amount of time, but with half the amount of villagers. So if you get anything, you're somebody that doesn't usually use a storehouse, which some people are, get this at least. Will benefit you tremendously, especially when you are leveling up through the ages. Now walls, I mean, we all know Persian walls suck really bad, but so do the Celtic walls. Their star ability is 25% more health on buildings. I don't use it. I guess that could be beneficial if you're somebody that uses a lot of forts or guard towers. Those would be beneficial there. Now, when it comes to sea, there's a video out there with me using the Swan ship already, doing pirates, to show you guys how good that ship is. I had a 270 DPS, and using sacrifice I took it to 311. One thing that I do like about this civilization is the transport upgrades. 20% more movement speed, 50% more health. But this is my favorite. It holds 8 more units, which I think is just awesome. If you're somebody that likes to play PvP and you want to do a villager rush, this is pretty cool. I haven't tested it out. I don't know anybody that has. I haven't really talked to anybody about it, but Safe Base might have tried it. Some of the other PvPers might have tried it. But if you are somebody that likes to rush with the DPS gear on villagers, this will double the DPS, and you might as well give it a shot. Go to military. Now, the cavalry I don't use unless I get bored. And the ragged, I don't use the slingers, but I got the upgraded for 10% more health and damage to bowmen. Now your bowman is, how do I put this? They are the strongest ragged unit in the game for infantry. They're stronger than Gastros, and I'll show you in a minute why, once I get to my gear. Now the rams are pretty fun. If you watched in Pirates, Legendary Pirates, I rushed with rams and totally got destroyed. They are down buildings very quickly. The stone throwers, on the other hand, they suck balls. They are terrible. They have crappy range. It's a good thing that the Celtic Empire has infantry and the best archers in the game, because if not, they'd be useless. Now, when it comes to infantry, your pikemen, or spearmen, excuse me, I always call them pikemen, they are the best spearmen in the game. I know that the Persians' star bonus, I think, is 50% more damage to cavalry. The reason why I like these spearmen more is you don't need gold. 0 gold. It's, I think, 40 food, and that's it. Nothing else. So you could build a lot of farms and a lot of spearmen, and there's the new spearman advisor that gives you 15% more DPS. Spearmen for an age 1 unit can be very, very deadly. Now, the long swordsman I did today on a 1 versus 1 rush unstoppable. There's the videos up for that too. And I thought it was going to be a little difficult, but I found that they are overpowered, amazingly overpowered. I beat it in excuse me, I beat it in like 4 minutes and something, and I screwed up a few times because it's my first time running it. It could be done way quicker. I'll show you the gear I have on it, and I'll tell you why that they will. Anybody that wants to farm skirmish, do Celtic and use this unit right here, and I'll show you why when I get to the gear. The Road Raiders, pure speed, insanely quick, as everybody's seen. And the champions I like because they have area hit. They hit 3 things at once. And moving on to utility, of course, full armoring, nothing new. I don't use their towers often because, to be honest, the towers suck. Now, when it gets to the Bard Hall, there's some interesting upgrades here. Speed upgrade, a charging upgrade for your loads. It's like something ridiculous. I don't know what they charge at, but it's got to be something way up into the 17 to 20s. More health for all infantry, more damage for all infantry, and of course a 10% train time. That is very beneficial, I have found. And then of course my fully upgraded market. This is my favorite character in the game for the Celtics. Make one of him, make a crap load of deer, which deer can be used for food if they have 150 food. They can be used for you, or they could be used for your co-op partner. Now, these are the 2 that I use most of the time. This will train faster. And this will increase your excuse me, attack power. I've had my archers attack 96 DPS. Pretty crazy. And moving on. We're going to do this a little backwards. We're going to go to the advisors this time. As I said, the Spearman Advisor with a 15% damage. The Survivalist is also the one I use, and that looks like about it on this one. Now, when it comes to this civilization, H2 can change a lot for me. Anywhere from 20 barracks being 25% less, to caravans costing 50% less, moving 10% faster. I think caravan speeds are over 10. I don't know, I'd have to double check. Of course, 12% farther for the ragged. The infantry train faster. The cheaper farms, so farms only cost you 25 instead of 50 or 100. And of course, the village elder. And when it comes to age 3, you have some of the ones that you've seen in before, right? Because if you've seen my videos, you've seen some of these already. But the ones that are different that I only use here is this unit for 10% faster for infantry. Very helpful, even if you are using any infantry that are not loads. It increases their speed by at least a good percent. Excuse me, a good half percent. Is there anybody else? No. As you see, I have some advisors in here, but I have not ever used them. Age 4, the usual suspects in here. I have this one for champions, 15% more damage. A typical 35%. I've used her a few times. The trickle rate at 1.75% a second, plus the tree. They do stack, and it can help. Let's see what else. I use this advisor for the Celtic and now Persia for the Sparrows. 10% more health is great. You will see a run with Sparrows with Soli and Ballistas. And it was done so much easier because I used Battlemaster on him. Now let's get out of this boring stuff and to, oopsies, what we all would want to see anyway is what I have geared for these guys. Now, when it comes to when we explain this a little differently than I have done with others, I think it'll be easier this way. When it comes to the war paint, I don't know what all the war paints are out there. I don't know if there's 1, 2, 3, or heck even more, but I just said, screw it, I'm going to go all damage. But now when it comes to my pikemen, because they are so cheap, I decided that I would want them to have the best DPS, the best health, quick. I know you can put on the roads. The roads are really quick enough as it is, unless you really want to go faster. Now the swordmen, I was telling you why they're so much better in 1 versus 1 unstoppable rush. Here's why. Look at their gear. You have the best sword for DPS. You have a legend shield, so you have great DPS, plus good health bonus and critical. Of course, you know 16.3. With this gear here, I'm at 30 DPS. Now, if you want to remove that and throw in a gauntlet of some sort, if you want to throw in the boots to make them faster, you can. But I found training them faster the better. But here's the thing that makes it that this owns, that this civilization beats the unstoppable so easy. We all have done it with the forts and building a fort advisor. Okay, but when it comes down to a unit that can use this infantry armor, this is the only one that can. All the other units have to wear plated armor. This is the only unit that can wear this armor. And with 33.4% infantry armor against a unit that does very low damage from a spar, you're going to win very easily. So if I were you, and if you have this civilization, get this vest, get whatever gear else you want with it, go farm the piss out of it, because this will probably get nerfed. Now when it comes to my woads, I wanted to go pure DPS, strong as possible. My woads DPS using sacrifice has broken the 150 mark. It is crazy, and they only have 3 things. As you see, 35.2, and then 16.3, then 82.4. It all adds up eventually, and it's nuts. Now when it comes to my champions, I don't like this blade, but the Sword of Means is just not out there right now. I got one did drop for me. I did find one, but I put it elsewhere that was needed more. So right now I have not found another one. Plus infantry armor. Now you could get the other one that has cavalry armor, but I chose infantry. Ramses. And of course the 16.3, like I already pointed out. Now the slingers are just garbage. You know, I had this on my archer and got rid of it. And then of course another Ramses, not Ramses, but another gauntlet. So let's say if I want to do a combo, I could go champions and archers, and I could use one on each of them. Now when it comes to the archer, I would probably put Ramses on him. If I need to build a lot, I put the cheaper ones on there, which I believe are down here somewhere on a different unit, or they're in here somewhere. Yeah, there they are. I just throw those on them. They need to be cheaper. But I went all range. I will not get the cheap bow for range. I will get the legendary bow for range. And range arrows. No, I don't want the Pathfinder. as you know, I say I hate critical, but because it's always low. But there's a torque out there that has over 40% crit hit. And when you're almost at 50%, and you can be told that every time you shoot somebody you have almost a 50% chance of doing 3 times damage, I'll throw this away. Just for that alone, I'm telling you. But can't find it yet, and I don't want to pay $300,000 for it. And the usual suspects for the Scout. When it came to my horse, I had no idea what I wanted to do with him. I really didn't. This is just probably a bad idea, but I didn't care. I had him, so I threw him on something. This is probably your best bet for armor, anyway. And the spear, the heavy Gilgamesh spear, is probably the best spear for him anyway. I shouldn't have wasted the spear on him, but at the time, I had this civilization fully geared, and I didn't know they were coming out with 2 more for summer, but we'll see if that actually really happens. Now the Swan ship. Now I spent $60K to gear this sucker, just for you guys with advisors and everything. Now, I would say range is key for the Swan ship. But I used a little more DPS. Now you could go with the other bow for the 20% range. Might help, might not, but this is how I got him done. And go from there. I don't use my druids, so I just threw some things on there that I had. Favorite unit of the game, hands down, put speed gear on him. And villagers, the usual suspects for that too. Fishing ships are really garbage. I really do need to work on those. Transport ships, remember they have the fastest in the game if you get the right gear.